Bienvenidos! Today we're going to talk about an exception to the rules for using gustar and verbs like gustar. If you're not familiar with using gustar and verbs like gustar, then please watch our videos on how to conjugate gustar and verbs like gustar, and then come back and watch this video for an exception to the rules. Because there is an exception when we're using compound subjects with verbs like gustar. When we have a singular subject, then we conjugate gustar in the third person singular. So when we say, me gusta la arena is the subject, it's singular, and we use the third person singular form of gustar, which is gusta. When we have a plural subject, like las olas, then we use the third person plural form of gustar, which is gustan. Me gustan las olas. But when we have a compound subject with multiple nouns, then we have to decide if we're going to use gusta or gustan. And our tendency, because we're English speakers, would be to use the third person plural form, gustan, when we have more than one noun. But that's not the rule. First, I want to explain that when we use a verb as the subject of gustar, that's considered to be a singular noun. So when we say, me gusta nadar, nadar is a singular noun in this situation, so it would be me gusta, the third person singular. But if we want to say, me gusta nadar y contemplar, I like to swim and I like to contemplate, our tendency as English speakers would be to use the third person plural, gustan, but that's not what we do. When we have a compound subject in Spanish, we conjugate gustar according to the first noun in the list. So if we said, me gusta nadar y contemplar, we're using gusta, the third person singular, because the first noun in the list, nadar, is singular. If we said, me gusta la arena y las olas, again, the first word in the list is singular, la arena. So we use third person singular for conjugating gusta. Now if we switch those two around and we said, me gustan las olas y la arena, then we can use the third person plural, only because the first noun in the list, las olas, is plural. So we're using third person plural when we conjugate gustar. For more examples of using gustar and verbs like gustar with this exception to the rule, we have a worksheet on our website, so click here and go to aplusspanishacademy.com.